was that like? So, kind of backtracking a little bit here
Mm-hmm.
to the end of the 2022 season, as we're kind of getting towards the end. You guys love playing for Mickey, right? You
Mm-hmm.
guys all love Mickey Joesph. I think still
Absolutely.
love Mickey Joesph. I don't hear any bad things from anyone about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the initial thoughts when Matt Rhule gets hired? I'll tell you my thoughts, but I'll let you go. Like, what was your thoughts when Matt Rhule gets hired?
Yeah. So I think I've told the story a few times, I think, but I didn't play because against Iowa
Mhm.
because I had torn my ACL, I think, a couple games before. So, but those like 3, 4 games I did have with Mickey was some of the most fun.
Mhm.
At that time, that was the most fun I ever had playing football was for Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey and Bush and Rude, like those guys, like I was like, okay, like we're back. Like, you know what I mean? We started playing some better defense and we won a
Oh yeah.
couple games and we're like, okay, this is like it just felt right. I was like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like, I love football, like let's do it. And then, I tore my ACL. That sucked. But the rest of the year we're riding with Mickey. Like we were like, okay, like we want Mickey back. We went and told Trev that, like the captains, like we want Mickey back. We think he can, like he's the right man for the job. Yeah. And so then in the Iowa locker room, we see that Rhule got hired, like I did, and the
Mhm.
other guys that were injured. I think Luke was injured that game too. We were like, oh man, like we better keep this on the down low and like
Yeah.
just kind of bury it till after the game. But we get out, beat Iowa. Great moment. I was really lucky I could still be there even though I wasn't playing. And then get back in the locker room, and now everyone starts to see it, and we're like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" Like we're kind of upset. We are upset, honestly, because we're
Mhm.
like, we have this great coach here who would die for us. Like Mickey would do anything for us, and they're just going to bring in this outsider who no one knows, and so we were upset. And Mickey was very complimentary of Rhule, and he was like, "No, like he'll do a great job," and he told
Mhm.
us he was going to try and stay on staff however he could and be around for us. Obviously, that didn't work out for
Mhm.
reasons,
Yep.
but
Yep.
uh, it was tough. And then I think when we met Rule the first time, it was also hard because we met him. He talked to us for 10 minutes, and then he had to do a billion things. So it was like,
Mhm.
okay, is this what I mean? Like, is this just a guy who's doing this for him, like a money grab? Like, what is it? Obviously,
Mhm.
not as you get to know Rule, that's not
Yeah.
true at all.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be a
No,
better
but
kid.
I hear you though. I hear you.
Yeah. And then I will say it helped a lot that Coach Campbell stayed back and talked to all
Mhm.
of us. And he said, like, he vouched for Rule so much. And he even started, like, doing workouts with us when Rule and everyone was recruiting. He was like, hey, I'll be around. Like, come get this work in. And I think just getting to know him and respecting him within, a day, like right when I met him, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I really like Campbell. I don't know. I haven't met Rule really, but
Yeah.
I know the strength staff is going to be legit, which was really cool. And then
Yeah.
as Rule got back and started spending time with us and us being around him, we're like, okay, this feels right. Like this is
Mhm.
good. Like let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Um, Kind of a personal question I have for you,
Hmm.
kind of involving this, and you don't have to answer. But I'm kind of. Was there any thought or talk amongst any of you guys about ever transferring when Mickey didn't get hired? Not even necessarily about Rule, but like, was there ever any talk about like, I really wanted to play for Mickey? And let's be real, in today's college football world, a coach leaves.
Hmm.
You expect players to leave. So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, was there any thought for you personally, or was there any talk in the locker room? Like, what was that? Was there any thought of that?
Yeah. I'll honest, definitely. I mean, it was more of a like my house, like my best friends who I lived with was like Luke, Blaze, Nash, Garrett, Nelson, and myself. So, I mean, us five had a lot of talks as far as like, I mean, Nelly, he was, he was pretty confident. He was like, I'm healthy. I want to go to the NFL. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I'm not going to have a better year than I did now. Like, let me go chase this dream while I can. We're like, okay, that
Mhm.
makes sense. Good. The rest of us are like, what do we do? And I
Yeah.
remember, I'm sure Luke wouldn't mind me telling this story. He's done one anyway. So, but he was like set on going to Kansas State for
Mm.
a little bit. He was like, I think I'm gonna enter the portal and see if I can't get, because he's from Kansas, and he's like, I might try and
Yeah.
go back to K-State. Like, he grew up a K-State fan, and then
Mhm.
so I really thought he was going to, and then I was
Wow.
like, man, if he does, like, I might throw my hat out there. But I'm also coming off a torn ACL, so I was like, I don't know if anyone wants damaged goods right now. I'm
Mhm.
sure I could have gotten something, but we ended
Yeah.
up all sitting down and talking, and we're like, you know what, we committed to Nebraska, right? And
Mhm.
we want, like, we're going to stay here, period. We ended up just saying that. As far as, like, if we win 8 games somewhere else, it's not going to mean a darn thing, frankly. Like, we
Yeah.
want to build here, and we want to finish where we started with all the players that we came in with, and whatever happens, happens. If we don't win a game, at least we went out on our shield. That's kind of what we
Yeah. Yeah.
ended up coming together and saying. But yeah, there were definitely thoughts about it.
Yeah. Well, I respect the hell out of that, and I respect the hell of the fact that you just, like,